What if I told you that your biggest strength as an entrepreneur isn't optimism, it's actually expecting failure? Sounds crazy, right? But what if preparing for the worst could be your secret weapon for success? In today's video, we'll dive into negative visualization, a Stoic practice that will help you plan your business with foresight, avoid unnecessary risk, and thrive in the face of setbacks. Stick around because this isn't the typical positive thinking fluff you've been fed. Prepare for setbacks before they happen. Let's be real, setbacks are inevitable. You will face obstacles, failures, and surprises. The question is, how prepared are you? Most people dive into business assuming everything will go smoothly or that they'll handle problems as they come. But here's the thing, the Stoics didn't wait for failure to knock them down. They planned for it in advance. Negative visualization is about imagining worst-case scenarios before they happen. It's not about dwelling on negativity, but rather about understanding the full spectrum of possible outcomes. By visualizing how things could go wrong, you're setting yourself up to respond with clarity and control when they do. You'll stop reacting emotionally and start strategically navigating through the mess. Think of it like fireproofing your mindset. When you expect things to break, pivot, or collapse, you build systems, not just dreams. You stop chasing perfect plans and start creating flexible ones. That's what gives Stoic entrepreneurs the edge. They're not shocked when the storm hits. They've already walked through it in their minds and built something that won't burn when reality gets messy. Are you ready to face challenges head-on, or are you pretending they won't happen? Control fear through mental rehearsals. Here's a bold truth. Fear doesn't come from failure itself. It comes from the unknown. What's worse than losing money? The fear of losing money. What's worse than rejection? The fear of rejection. But with negative visualization, you're not just sitting and imagining failure, you're mentally rehearsing your response. Think about it. Imagine a scenario where you lose your biggest client or your startup crashes. Now, mentally prepare for how you would handle it. What are your next steps? What resources do you need to bounce back? What's your backup plan? This mental exercise doesn't just ease fear. It transforms it into something productive. The next time you're facing a challenge, you'll know exactly how to respond. Instead of freezing in panic, you'll make calm, rational decisions. And here's the kicker. When you rehearse failure enough times, it loses its power over you. What once felt terrifying becomes familiar, manageable, even strategic. You're no longer paralyzed by what-ifs because you've already met them in your mind, stared them down, and planned your comeback. That's not weakness, that's mental dominance. And in business, that edge could be the reason you survive when others fold. So ask yourself, what are you avoiding by not facing your fears directly? Risk management with Stoic foresight. You can't eliminate risk in business. It's not possible. But what you can do is manage it with foresight. Negative visualization gives you the ability to assess risk objectively, not emotionally. By imagining potential failures, you learn to mitigate them before they even happen. It's like planning for a storm. You don't know when it will come, but you know it's coming. You buy insurance. You strengthen your foundation. You put measures in place. In business, this can mean creating financial backups, building a reliable team, or having a contingency plan for unexpected market shifts. The Stoics weren't gamblers, they were strategists. They believed in preparing for volatility and not being crushed by it. In business, that means you don't just dream about scale, you simulate collapse. What if your supply chain breaks? What if your ad account gets banned? When you've already thought through the chaos, you don't just survive setbacks, you capitalize on them while everyone else is still scrambling. That's not paranoia. That's power. Risk is always there, but with Stoic foresight, you can manage it in ways that actually give you an edge over others who are just reacting when things go wrong. Emotional resilience through preparation. Imagine running a business without emotional turbulence. No stress, no panic. Just calm, measured decision-making, even in the worst of times. That's what negative visualization gives you. By confronting negative outcomes before they occur, you build emotional resilience. When you've already imagined the worst, nothing that happens is a surprise. You're ready. You've rehearsed the disappointment, the mistakes, and the losses. They don't scare you because you've already chosen how you'll respond. This kind of emotional training gives you a massive advantage over other entrepreneurs. While they crumble or freeze during high-pressure moments, you stay grounded. Why? Because you've already felt the emotional weight of failure and you've practiced holding it. The emotional rehearsal becomes your shield. You're not just mentally prepared, you're emotionally bulletproof. And in business, that's what separates the ones who survive from the ones who quit too soon. Are you ready to embrace the worst-case scenario so you can handle anything with resilience? Strengthen your focus by accepting what you can't control. Here's a truth many entrepreneurs struggle with: you can't control everything. In fact, there's a whole lot out there that's beyond your reach: the economy, market trends, competition, or even the unpredictable behavior of customers. But most people spend too much energy worrying about these things. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control: our decisions, actions, and responses. By applying negative visualization, you start to realize what's truly in your power. When you accept that the outcome isn't entirely up to you, you stop stressing about everything else. Instead, you focus on your preparation, your resilience, and your ability to adapt. And that's what leads to success. Not fighting what's out of your hands, but concentrating on the one thing you can always influence: yourself. If you're stuck worrying about things beyond your control, you're wasting valuable time and energy. What could you achieve if you focused only on what you can influence? You don't need to be an eternal optimist to succeed in business. In fact, the Stoic way shows that preparing for failure isn't a sign of weakness, it's the ultimate strength. Negative visualization isn't about expecting disaster. It's about empowering yourself to handle whatever comes your way with confidence and clarity. So, what's the worst that could happen in your business? And how are you preparing for it? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more Stoic strategies to transform your business mindset.